So the best way to offend nobody is to say nothing. So you never risk being wrong. However, I think the quest for truth is so important. Why would you let the Prime Minister of Israel speak at the United Nations if you're not actually looking for the truth? We all want to understand what motivates people to kill each other. I don't think there is a right answer. I asked AI a little bit of precisions, and they say that it's oversimplifying to say that all the efforts for the two-state solutions have been rejected with violence, because it's been decades that it's been going on. But if we keep looking at what they did, what happened, it will never get better. They have to realize how much suffering they've been through and say, okay, now are we going to stop that? From whether parties or groups or communities they belong to, because this suffering is horrible. At the same time, we have to keep people accountable. If you have terrorist groups, terrorists, people who kill and murder for their political agenda, this is unacceptable. So the Secretary General of the United Nations condemned the attacks on October 7 when it happened 2 years ago. He said, I condemn those attacks. Okay, you're condemning them with what? What is the consequence? We're just condemning and lamenting that terrorists are killing people, but what are we doing to stop them? I'm sorry, look at the Taliban. I'm not calling here for a genocide, but I understand the position of Netanyahu, who is actually working against the proliferation of nuclear weapons in the Gulf. So, of course, there is a hidden agenda. They want to be the only one possessing the weapons. It's never all black or all white. But their people, the Jews, have been suffering harassment, injustice for decades, centuries. And now they're just tired of it. And at some point, you need to, the Taliban, they attacked New York. So the American, because it was an attack on the United States, the American went there and they chased them down and they arrested the leads of the Taliban. And then they left. It was longer than that, but what is happening now? Oh, I know what I'm talking about. Actually, when I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm asking questions and I'm looking for the truth. But when I know what I'm talking about, this is why I posted on social media. Because we have them here, the kids from Afghanistan, tons of families that come to America because their daughter was not allowed in school in their country because the Taliban, a few years ago, I think it was around the same time, maybe 2022, 2023, I'm not sure when, they took over the government and the king fled. They went to everybody's house. They collected the weapons. And then it was kind of safe, they say, except that they started imposing their rules and girls were not allowed in school anymore. But now they own the country. And now you see summits in Russia where the Taliban are welcome as guests. Are you kidding me? What the heck? No, you don't need everything to make a world. If you've been killing people, you've been disturbing, you've been preventing human rights, you don't deserve to be a part of this community on the planet. We need to get rid of these people. I'm sorry. There are things, there's freedom of speech, there's diversity of opinion, and there's being a criminal. Okay? I'm not here walking around and killing people because they think different than me. Or because, I'm just always thinking of my divorce, the worst time of my divorce when we were arguing all the time and fighting for who would stay in the house and how we hated each other. We couldn't even be in the same room. without wanting to kill each other, even once we came to fighting. It doesn't mean we actually killed each other. Like, you have to have some self-control. And mostly when it's political, like if you're defending someone, an intruder goes to your house and you defend yourself, you're defending your family. But if it's political, of course they feel like they're defending their families because they're defending their lands and their community that is like their family. But at some point, if you're gonna go kill other families because they're not the same race or religion or kind of your family, you're a criminal. So what was the consequence for them? I'm sorry, fool around and find out. I meant what I meant. And I know the UN lost a lot of their humanitarians there. When Netanyahu, they told them to leave the country, they warned them. And they stay because they saw, how do you say, they have such a good heart. They can't stand abandoning people that they're over there to help. These people, they're like angels. So of course they stayed, and a lot of them were killed, and they know the truth better than anyone else because they were there. I just interviewed one person on X through text message. I don't even know what is true and what is not true. I do believe there's conspiracies of getting rid of people in the land so they can be buying it off by promoters and building it the way they want it, and people, they're nothing. They're like ants for them. I believe that. I also believe that if they are terrorists, and I've verified the information today on Grok, because my question was, has it been proven that Hamas is actually the author of October 7, or was it a detour, an action from the government disguised as a terrorist attack so they could blame it on them? They do that all the time. They commit crimes and then they blame it on the opponents, and they say, oh, see, this is because of these people, right? So we create more hate for people that are different than us. So, and I asked AI, and they say, yes, it's been proven that it was Hamas, and they even claimed it themselves, that they were the authors of those crimes. And so the problem is the innocent people in the middle. So like I was saying this morning, I was posting about it. You have people who feel like outcasts, or they've been persecuted, for generations. They feel they need pillars. And all this I talked about, I know, because during my divorce, I was so alone and desperate, and it was so horrible. I was living in violence. It was just horrible. And when I found those people, this community that made me feel understood, that were protecting me, I was loyal forever. Even after they did things that were wrong, I'm still loyal to them because I felt like I had people who see me. I had people who understand me. And you give them your loyalty, except that these people, they're actually mentors and business owners that are trying to improve people's life, and they're providing free content, and they're working for truth and consciousness, and they always post different perspectives. They say one thing and they're opposite sometimes. Why? Because they're showing that perspective matters. Everyone has a different experience, so you can't all agree on the same vision. But terrorists, extremists, pimps, gangs, prostitution, all this human trafficking, all these criminals, how do they recruit or find their people? They find people that are lost or weak or uneducated, or that feel like outcasts or the rebels, and they offer them that. They offer them the protection. They offer them hope that it's going to be better. They make them feel seen. they say that they're gonna, be the strength behind their voice. So they do that, but then they go and they commit terrorist attacks. So they're just teaching their other people that violence is the solution against the government, which I never believed that the government of Israel is completely innocent either. There probably have been a lot of pressure, like the Secretary General, even in his speech 2022, warned that the tensions between Israel and Palestine were just right there to blow up. He declared it. So they already knew that there were pressure from the government of Israel, probably to already eject those people from their land, like they say. But you have to see from two parts. Israel, they've had crimes against their humanity for decades, centuries, and now they're still being attacked. They're probably sick of it, So I think that he is very intelligent. He knows how to use flattery to put people on his side, but I'm still listening to his arguments, because if you're going to condemn someone, for jail for life, most likely, you still need to hear them. This is what a judgment is. You're listening to information from both parts, and then you make a decision. And you have witnesses. So sorry, UN, I'm not in your daily meetings, as you know, even though I applied to go and work with you like 45,000 times. So you will excuse me if I don't have all the information that you guys have, but I'm still asking questions and making parallels. Because if I don't understand, and trust me, I'm educated, I look for information every day. That's all I do at night. I come back from work and I'm scrolling the news. I'm Googling things, AI. I'm looking for information just because I'm interested. So if I, who spend 50% of my life when I'm not at work looking for information and I'm still confused, I'm pretty sure that 80% of the world who does not do all these efforts to understand has no clue. They see the images and they're being manipulated left and right. One information, the media says this and says that. Of course, because there's two parts. So they're all going to think they're innocent. Nobody thinks they're the villain. They all think they're heroes or martyrs. So I agree. The violence must stop immediately. But this is going to be incurable. Imagine someone kills your family, your child, your friends, your community. They destroy everything. And what would you want to do to them? So I think that they push them to the point of being so weak that they don't even have the strength to fight. And now all they wish for is just a ceasefire and for peace to come back. They won't want revenge. But then when they feel better and they recover, what is going to be of these people? Do you think they're going to say, oh, we love Israel. It's all good now. We love peace. After they killed my kids, they're going to want their revenge. What are they going to teach to their kids? Oh, we can all live in peace in this beautiful land of Israel now, or in Palestine. After they killed all of us, they let us die, starve us. If already when everything was kind of settled, they couldn't take it and were just attacking and bombing civilians, what is going to be next? Is it going to be like the Taliban? And then they're going to just keep rebuilding themselves and the conflict is going to come back over and over? So, it's hard to do. It's hard to say. Of course, I'm not promoting a genocide. It'd be easy in a classroom to say, okay, I'm going to kick all the bad kids, all those that are distracting me or that is not exactly like my teaching style would like to be. I'm going to kick them all out so I can only stay with the good, easy kids, No, of course, that is not fair. That just makes the work easier, but it is not how you fill the gaps of society. You have to include everyone and guide them towards becoming a better version of themselves. So killing their family is not how it's going to work. So I hope they watch this video and understand that they both want to be the hero. And in the end, we're all humans. You're killing a human, you're killing a human. So yes, guys, I'm not able right now to take position, you know. I think terrorists needs to be exterminated to the last one alive. That is it. And then, but they need to be identified, and for the civilians, the innocent people who've never committed a crime, give them a chance to become part of the change. That's all I gotta say. You cannot presume that they're all gonna be terrorists. For us, from far, it's become images of every day, but it's so horrible. What if it was us? I remember when I was so broke, I couldn't buy food. It was so stressful, I couldn't feed my kid. I will always remember being there outside the Pizza Hut and counting my coins so I could buy a pizza. Like they got pity on us and he gave me a voucher to go get a pizza half price. That was so scary, so stressful. It's nothing compared to what they're experiencing. So horrible what we see in the world, guys. But I wish that we could at least trust our leaders and the government. But when you see what they're able to do to people, like if I was a politician, I don't know if I would ever be able to launch orders to go and kill people, because see, I even feel sorry for dictators, and it's all about how we can just bring them back in the right direction and use their power and use their history. Okay, because if they're where they are, is because there's other people who think like them. So we gotta accept the culture, but how we can educate them to change their ways. Space Olympics, guys. Find something better to focus on. Redirect the attention. When my kids in class are annoying and talking, of course, often I lecture them, but most of the time, I would say 60% of the time, I'm just calling their names. I'm just doing my lesson and I'm just calling their name in the listen. Hey, so you see, Elijah, this is so important because, so they're talking, they hear me calling. Like, so this part right there is so important. So make sure you study that. And then I'm calling on to someone. I'm just calling their names while I'm teaching, just to bring them back constantly, and make them know that I'm watching, and I'm not always being confronting them, because then it always escalates conversation and everything. So I think they should try that. Include them. And I'm so tired. I'm gonna sleep well tonight. And it's horrible. I mean, I'm sorry for all their loss in the UN and whatever. I guess I am where I'm supposed to be.